I've got 7:35 here now, so we can go ahead and get started. Thank you everyone for coming on who's on here. I know with all this going on, you might not be thinking of OA as much, but thanks for hopping on, and hopefully we can help you learn some things here and prepare for your brotherhood. So we'll just go through a presentation here for you. So there's 5 requirements for your brotherhood that you have to memorize. There's the obligation of the order, the OA song, the admonition, the sign of ordeal membership, the hailing sign, and then the OA hand clasp. And you're also going to have to write a letter to the lodge secretary about why you think you should be brotherhood and what you want to help the lodge with in the future. So some resources for you. There's jumpstart.oa-bsa.org, and the password to get onto that is obligation. This is essentially an OA website to help you study on your own time. So you're going to want to review some of that coming up to Conclave here. And then we're also going to send out a link to this presentation and the recording of this video here in like a mass email afterwards. So you can review that too, and that has all the information in here. I guess, Evan, do you want to take over with the obligation then?
Yeah, I definitely can. Thanks, Mickey. Awesome. So like Mickey was saying, there's quite a few things you guys need to memorize, and you know to the best of your knowledge, right, to become a Brotherhood member of the Order of the Arrow. So the first thing that we're going to talk about is arguably, one of the hardest things that you guys are going to have to do for the whole Brotherhood process, and that's memorizing the obligation. Now, when we say memorize, and I don't like to use that word a whole lot, but really, you're not expected to know it absolutely perfectly, right? People are going to be there to help you through the process if you can't, but we really want to make sure that you guys, try your hardest to commit it to memory. It's kind of like, saying the Scout Oath and Law, right? You're not going to know it right away, not at your first troop meeting, but after a while you get to learn it. So we're going to kind of go through the obligation here, and then we're going to go through the other couple things. So it looks like part of it's on here. And all this information can be found in your Order of the Arrow handbook. So if you have that handy, you can pull it out. And it's a little hard to do this over Zoom. Normally during a Brotherhood study session, we'd have you guys break up into groups and, try to memorize as much as you can here. But we'll talk about it. We'll go through it, and then we'll see if you guys have any questions. So up here on the screen is the beginning. So I guess I'll go ahead and read through it and keep moving the slides along, and we'll just read through it once. So I do hereby promise, on my honor as a scout, that I will always and faithfully observe and preserve the traditions of the Order of the Arrow. Wamachtendink, Wengalausik, Witahemaway. So that's the first bit there. And here we go. I guess I can talk about this here too. So I'm confusing the slide clicker. That's cool. So some of the hardest part, right, you're gonna have those 3 W's, and those words are really confusing. Nobody's gonna make fun of you if you say them wrong. They're Lenni Lenape words for the original name of the Order of the Arrow before it got that name, the Brotherhood of Those Who Cheerfully Serve. So Wamachtendink, Wengalausik, Witahemaway is Brotherhood, Cheerfulness, and Service. In the second part of the obligation here, I will always regard the ties of brotherhood and the Order of the Arrow as lasting, and will seek to preserve a cheerful spirit, even in the midst of irksome tasks and weighty responsibilities, and will endeavor, so far as in my power lies, to be unselfish in service and devotion to the welfare of others. So that's the second part of the obligation. So it's a lot of words, right? But and it might be a little bit harder to memorize than the Scout Oath and Law, but I think you guys can do it. It's not super difficult. So I guess, do you guys have any questions about the obligation of the Order of the Arrow, or what's going to be expected of you during that process? No? Okay, awesome. Sounds good. Yeah, so that's the obligation. If you guys, I know you guys have loads of free time during, all the quarantine stuff. So you should have a little bit of time to read this over a few times in your OA handbook. If not, it's on the internet. They'll send this out to you. Just keep working on it. I know you guys can do it. If you have any questions, reach out to Mickey or any of us. I'm sure we all would love to have phone calls with you guys and help you work through it and get over those hurdles that you have with memorization. But other than that, that's the obligation, guys. And I'll go ahead and hand it back over to Mickey.
So that's, yeah, the obligation. That's going to be the hardest part for everyone to memorize. It helps a lot if you start looking at it before conclave. It's really hard to try and jam it in a couple days. So a few weeks before is really going to help. And even if you want to look at it over the spring and summer here and try and memorize it some, that would be a lot of help. So the next thing here that you have to memorize is the OA song. I don't know who all remembers this, but after getting your ordeal, everyone formed a circle around the campfire and joined hands and sang this together. It'll be the same thing after you're going through your brotherhood too. So we got 5 verses here. Firm bound in brotherhood, gather the clan, that cheerful service brings to fellow man. Circle our council fire, weld tightly every link that binds us in brotherhood with Mockton Dink. So I guess, Seth, if you want to play the audio tone here, this is what the words goes along to. So as we're going through that out at your brotherhood at Conclave, I guess the rhythm and all that isn't necessarily as important to have memorized. You don't need to worry about that. But just know the words and then you'll go along with everyone else as they sing it. The next thing you'll have to know is the admonition. This was also whispered to you during your ordeal ceremony. It is a holton and pronounced like that. And it's a word in Linne Lenape, like a lot of the other things in the OA. And it's translated closest to love one another. And typically this is only meant to be whispered into the ear. So you'll whisper it into the ear of the person during brotherhood testing too.
I guess, Mickey, if I could just give a little tip, the way I best remembered how to say it, how they explained it to me was, think about how much does your ex-girlfriend weigh? She weighs a whole ton. So that's just one way I thought about it.
So the next thing is the sign of ordeal membership. The sign is another way to show that you've been inducted and that you're in the OA. The sign is to take your right hand and have it over your left shoulder, and then move outward as if you're drawing an arrow from a quiver that's slung over your left shoulder. So do you have a video for this one, Seth? So I guess I'm not sure how well everyone can make that out, but essentially you're just pretending to draw an arrow from a quiver using your right hand over your left shoulder. It's pretty simple. The last thing is the OA hand clasp. So when you were giving your sash, Alabat Sakima gave you the hand clasp of the Order of the Arrow, and it's essentially a handshake with your left hand, but you're going to interlock your pinky and ring fingers. So we've got a picture here to help you visualize. So that's what you had at your ordeal ceremony. If you remember everyone saying congratulations and shaking your hand. I don't know if you knew the OA hand clasp yet, but that's what they're trying to do at least. And then that's what you have to try and memorize for the Brotherhood testing as well.
I guess maybe, Mickey, before we get into the letter, do we maybe want to recap a little bit and then maybe explain the stages of the testing and how it's going to look for them when they get to that point?
Yeah, so when you get to conclave, you're going to have most of the Friday and then Saturday to like study and try and memorize the thing. And then Saturday afternoon, you're going to go through your Brotherhood testing. And that'll consist of walking up to different people that are testing you. And each one will have a different thing for you to do. Like first you'll have to show the hand clasp and then the hailing sign and then the obligation and the song. So you'll go through all that. Each person you'll do a different thing, and then after that, if you pass, you have the ceremony later in the day. So I guess to recap, you've got the hand clasp, the hailing sign, the song, the admonition, and the obligation. Those 5 things is what you need to memorize.
Awesome. Is this where I jump in? Cool. All right. So the next thing that we're going to talk about is the candidate letter. Now, not all lodges have this requirement for Brotherhood membership, but our lodge, it's a tradition that we like to do. And essentially, and I didn't read this slide at all, so I'm just talking about how, like, what I know. Let's see, I'll skim it quick. Yeah, so basically what you're going to be doing is you're going to be a letter, and you can type it, you can write it, whatever works best for you guys. And there's going to be time at conclave to do this, but here's the kicker. If you do it before conclave, you're going to have loads and loads of time to make it meaningful and, really reflective of like what you believe and all that stuff. So what you want to do is you're going to put together this letter, and there's no length requirement, whatever, not the jargon that school has, but what you're supposed to do is you're supposed to write down, what being a Brotherhood member of the Order of the Arrow means to you, and kind of what the obligation means, and just explain what that means to you. And again, here on the slide, it says there's no right answer. It doesn't really matter. And another thing that you want to include in that letter is how you're going to continue your service to your unit, right? Either your crew, your ship, your troop, anything like that. How you're going to continue your service to your unit, how you're going to continue your service to your chapter, right? Chapter 5. And then how you're going to continue your service to the lodge. Like, what are your ambitions in the Order of the Arrow? What do you see yourself doing? What service do you see yourself giving back? And just kind of writing that out and doing that kind of thing. On here it says, remember the ordeal aim was to teach you the importance of brotherly truthfulness and service. So try to work that in there somewhere. Really reflect on the ordeal experience and try to convey what the Order of the Arrow really means to you in that letter. So go ahead and click the next tab here and see what else is on here. Yeah, perfect. So it says, including a description of your plans for giving service back to the lodge program, right? So really what this is doing is it's allowing you to write down your goals, right? So, we can all say, hey, we aspire to be leaders in the lodge. Hey, I really want to make it to those chapter meetings and I want to show up and support all my friends. But there's something about writing it down that it really holds us accountable for our actions. So if you truly want to give back and you want to show up to more chapter 5 meetings, or you want to say, hey Mickey, I really want to help out with the ceremonies this time at conclave, or I really want to be an longamat or a clan leader, right? There's something about writing it down that really gives you ownership of that goal. And yeah, so there we go. And it doesn't need to be crazy like it's just saying. It can be as simple as saying, hey, I want to help out at conclave, or I want a leadership role at conclave, or maybe I want to help with registration or something like that. So see what's on the next slide here, if there's anything else. Yep, so exactly. So there might be a little bit more information about, what the obligation means and what all those things mean in the Order of the Arrow in your handbook. But really what you guys want to do is you want to write your letter out. You want to sit down and do it. There will be time at conclave, but you guys can definitely work on it before. And you're addressing it to the lodge secretary. I have no idea who that is, right? Mickey, do you know who the lodge secretary is?
I'm not sure with the new people being elected right now.
Okay. Well, somebody is the lodge secretary. And if you want to make it more personal, you can write their name. I'm sure it's on the website. We'll just have to look. And if you just want to write Dear Lodge Secretary, that's totally fine too. It's going to make it to the right person. And what we do, and I think the lodge is still doing this, we take these letters and we save them. We have like a little filing thing, and we hang on to these. And someday, right, way down the line, we're going to give these back to you guys. And you're going to look at those goals that you wrote down, and you're going to look at, what you put down for what the OA means to you and your ambitions and all that stuff. And you're going to look at that and you're going to be like, did I really do this? Did I really accomplish all my goals and visions for myself? So it'll be kind of a cool thing for you guys later on down the road. So yep, writing a letter to the lodge secretary. That's it's one of the requirements our lodge put forward. Yeah, let's see, is there another slide? Otherwise, we'll take questions on this. Perfect, awesome. So here's an example. Let's see here. Yeah, so y'all can take some time to read that if you want. Otherwise, I'm sure we can get you a copy of it. And this one's super simple. Like, that's not even a page, guys. Heck, that's maybe a paragraph, right? Very easy. I've seen Brotherhood letters written on the back of napkins, right? I've seen them typed up really fancy. I've seen some amazing people in our lodge with some of the most beautiful calligraphy, right? You can make it super artsy, draw us a picture, really do whatever you want with this Brotherhood letter. It's yours. But as long as you convey those messages to us, like, what the obligation means to you, what being a member of the Order of the Arrow means to you, and the goals and ambitions you have for yourself, those are the important things to convey. As long as you do that, you're golden. All right, so there's the example. And we'll see if there's another slide here.
There isn't one on the letter. Nope.
Perfect. Awesome. So do you guys have any questions about the Brotherhood letter, or the Brotherhood process so far that I can help answer for you? Sounds good. And this definitely isn't meant to be more homework for you guys. I know you're all bogged down with schoolwork and all that stuff. It's kind of meant to be fun. So have fun with it. Be creative. And that's all that's important. Cool, cool. All right, Mickey, I'll go ahead and hand it back off to you as long as there's no more questions.
Seth, is our next slide here like the dates for conclaves?
It sure is.
So usually after being in the OA, your ordeal membership for 6 months, then you can go through your Brotherhood at conclave. At least 6 months. There's no limit. You could wait a year, you could wait 2 years. But some opportunities for you guys. Typically we have spring conclave, but that's postponed right now due to the virus. So we're trying to reschedule that sometime in September. We're looking at the 11th through the 13th, and that'll still be at Camp Wilderness. And then if you can't make it to that, there's also going to be Fall Conclave. That's at Heart Butte this year, so a little bit more of a drive if you're on the eastern side of the state here. But that's near Glenolan, North Dakota. And that'll be August 14th through the 16th this year. So we've got a couple dates for you here in the fall. Were there any other slides, Seth?
Not specifically. We can always go back and go over a few things if people want us to.
Okay, so I guess before hand it off to you and wrap it up before too long, just to recap, it's those 5 things that you're going to have to memorize for the Brotherhood, and then you're going to write that letter to the lodge secretary. And every year there's people that wait until fall or spring conclave and then try and jam it all in and memorize and write the letter. And you can do it, a lot of people do, but it's going to be a really big help if you start looking at things before then. Like Evan said, if you want to write that letter before conclave, then you can have as much time as you want, make it as good as you want. You can really make it a lot better with all the extra time. And then you should probably start looking at memorizing some things before conclave too, especially, you don't have to memorize the whole thing, but just to get a start on like the obligation, because it is a lot of words to memorize. So I guess, were there any questions on anything in this presentation? So we've got some resources for you. Like we said, there's this jumpstart.oa-bsa.org, and the password to get onto that is obligation for those of you that joined late and maybe didn't see that. And then we're also going to send out in an email to everyone a link to this presentation, like a recording, and then the presentation itself, so you can go through those slides on your own if you want. So I guess, Seth or Evan, did you guys have anything else you wanted to hit?
I think I'm good.
Yeah, I guess I'd just say thanks to everybody for coming on tonight. Thanks to Evan and Mickey for really spearheading and putting this together for us, and helping you guys learn some more. And like always, if you guys have any questions, you can always reach out to Mickey or myself or Evan. We'd all be more than happy to answer any questions for you. I would expect to see the email with these resources probably later tonight or early tomorrow morning, depending on how long it takes everything to load and download. Other than that, that's all I have, and we're excited to see you guys at Fall Conclave and the rescheduled Spring Conclave. And Mickey, I would say we could probably look at doing another one of these probably in, I don't know, probably around that July time frame, a little before Fall Conclave.
Yeah, we can have another one of these sessions and then just help get everyone in the right direction.
So if, we'll give you guys a couple minutes if you have any questions or if you want to type anything to the chat box. But if not, we'll let you guys run and get back to your looks like we had a little bit of rain, a little damp. What is it, Thursday night? So thanks for hopping on, and we'll see you guys later.